the Weekly Feed. I'm Kyle Meredith, the legendary Sarah McLachlan. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Bestowing much pressure on you with this right here.
I'm a little young for the legendary part, but thank you.
I think in the music business, as long as you can hang around for longer than 10 years, you can wear it.
Yeah, this is 27 years in.
That's not bad.
That's kind of shocking.
That's
when
not
I think
bad.
About it.
You picked up a few things on the way?
A few bad habits, a few good habits.
Right.
Yeah.
I know it's changed. So the new record we should mention, "Shine On," beautiful record.
Thank you.
It's so well done. I know things that have changed, and I know a bit of the recent part of your career, I guess, is kind of, I don't know, what do you call it, stepping back a little bit, not pushing as hard as you used to, kind of.
Well, I have kids,
Right.
so I mean priorities change, and I'm considerably older now than I was 27 years ago when I started, and I'm really lucky that I can, to a certain degree, pick and choose how much I work and when I work. I mean, as I said, these days I sort of do my touring around my kids' school schedules. Like they're on spring break right now, so I get 2 weeks with them.
Right.
There's for 12 days on the other side when I'm not with them, and then I'm home again. So.
Yeah. But even when you're writing the record, though, is that kind of a thing like, obviously the 90s were a great decade for you. A lot of great things happened with those records.
Heyday, absolutely.
Yeah. What am I asking? Do you have to reach for that type of a star when you're writing these records? So you have to go, I want that to be a #1 album.
No, and I mean, I never did. I never sought to have #1 records or have that kind of success. I mean, for me, I know this might sound obnoxious, but it's success for me is looking in the mirror at the end of the day and go, I did absolutely the best job I could.
Yeah.
And I worked my hardest, and this is my best.
Yeah.
And you don't always hit that, obviously. But as far as making my records, for me, it's just a very selfish act. I mean, I do it for myself. I'm so lucky that I get to create something that I want to create and then send it out to the universe and have other people be able to relate to it.
Yeah. I know for some artists, though, it can be a problem if you're in it for multiple decades. Whoever you are, whether you're Bruce Springsteen or whoever, you're usually competing with one era.
Well, I think, any artist, you're right, who has that kind of longevity, I think it's an extremely difficult expectation to go into it and think that you're ever going to have the same success you had in the past. If you ever did reach huge success, which I feel like I did, I think it's really dangerous to ever expect that again. And you can't really expect that. If you do, you're setting yourself up for a huge disappointment. I think I was just so incredibly lucky that I got to ride that wave in the 90s and have that success, and not just for 15 minutes, but a good chunk of change.
I mean, you've got a greatest hits.
I do, yeah. And, I'm just so lucky that I get to make music and I get to go out there and play live, which is what I really love to do. And still get enough of an audience together that that wants to come and listen.
And these shows have been so cool, especially with the Q&A that you have going on.
Well, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, I've always been trying to figure out ways to create less of a boundary between us being on stage and the audience being in the seats. And it's like, because you're making music and we're playing it for these people and we're all kind of in it together. So the Q&A is fun because, people they used to be shouting stuff and you can never hear what anybody's saying. So they go, let's organize that somehow. So getting people to write down the questions, and it's a great way to sort of pass the time as well to further that idea. We have this living room set up and we invite people through a social media contest that we ran previously to come and hang out with us on stage. And so whilst they're getting organized, I answer questions. And
have you gotten to the point yet where you figured out, do you have the worst question you've ever had and the best question? Does it go that far?
It probably does if I think about it. I can never hold on to that information.
Right.
I forget. People say, what's the best question you've been asked? I'm like,
I don't know.
In the moment, I can never think of it. There's been some doozies. There's been really great, smart ones. There's been really moronic ones.
Because I know you get the ones like, will you marry me, and all of these.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, just last week, it's like, my wife and I would both like to marry you. I'm like, okay.
Hello.
I'm like, okay, get a little red in the face. It's okay. Thank you, but.
And what was your answer?
It's like, I don't really know you, and there's a myriad of reasons why that wouldn't work. But thank you. I mean, it's not like this is a serious request anyway. But you just have fun with those ones. And
you're a positive person. I mean, you get all that. You get that from the stage. You get your little Sunday bit of thing on your Facebook. Are you as positive a person as you come off online? Because you really kind of preach that. You push that in the live show, on your albums.
I am.
Yeah.
And I work really hard at, some days you have to work hard at it,
Sure.
to find the silver lining. But
Yeah.
I feel like I am that person that the cup is always half full, if more so.
Yeah, there's a quote, and I got it written down here, high hopes for humanity. I don't know where I pulled that from the other day, but you said that somewhere recently. Like, I have high hopes for humanity.
Well, and I think when I was talking about that, I was talking about just the fact that we, as humans, have such a beautiful ability to be empathetic, to be understanding of other people's issues, and to give of ourselves, which we're the only race that, we're the only creatures that do that. And I sort of feel like, that's the thing that's going to keep us above water,
well,
is if we continue to hold on to the beautiful parts of humanity and not sink.
Because watching the news, you could get
terrifying.
carried away in
You can get, you get
what's
carried
going
away.
on in the Congress and what's going on.
Well, and you can feel paralyzed too.
St. Louis or anything.
Sure, it's
yeah.
like, what can I do? I'm one person.
Right.
And you look at all these huge things that are so complex that you can spend weeks trying to delve into it and trying to understand it. And, you don't really get very far because it is so complex. If these really, really smart world leaders can't figure it out.
Right. So what do you do then? I mean, it seems like for you,
try
it's
and exact change on the level that you can exact change.
Yeah. You try to push the positive stuff to the people that are listening to you and hope that they push it along too.
And I try and teach it to my kids and anybody else who will listen. But really, it's not by talking; it's by doing. One of my favorite quotes in the world is "Be the change you want to see in the world." I mean, it's horribly overused, but
in every dorm room across America.
But it's such a simple concept. It's like do unto others as you want done unto yourself. Really, Jesus was a pretty cool guy. He had some really great, simple ideas, and a lot of people didn't like it. But
a lot of people have just looked right past that simple idea and said many other things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's greed. One of the underside and the unpleasant side of humanity is that we want power and we want things to be the way we want them for ourselves, and that can't always work. And I mean, that's one of the great things about becoming a mother, where you really realize that in a profound way, where it's like, this isn't about me anymore.
Right.
This isn't about what I want. It's about what's good for everybody. And I think that's why if women ruled the world, it would be a lot better of a place.
Well, that brings up an interesting. There is that word that
Go Hillary.
Yeah, right. No, go Hillary. I need that. We all need that.
Yeah.
But there's been a word that goes along with that you've always been associated with, and it's feminism. And I always feel weird talking about this as the guy in the conversation because
I think men can be feminists. I know some beautiful.
Like I'm
males
on equal for everybody. I like to think of it as a humanism thing.
I agree.
It's all like that. But it does seem like it's been in the conversation more right now, and
it's coming back into favor.
Now, is that good or bad? Because I also hear a lot
good.
of argument going on, and sometimes it's not in the best way.
Well, and there's always going to be pushback, and there are going to be the people who pretend to hide behind the humanist thing of, well, why do we even need to talk about this? Well, clearly we need to talk about it because women still aren't treated equally. Women still do not have equal pay. Patricia Arquette at the Oscars gave a great speech about that. It's like, it's true. Yeah. Now, things are changing very slowly, and they're moving in a positive direction. That being said, I believe that women and feminism needs to remain vigilant because at any moment, for instance, our reproductive rights could be taken away from us again.
It's amazing to think that that's even possible.
But, one state will pass a law, and then 2 states, and all of a sudden, before you know it...
I have a feeling I know where all the states will be around, though. It's in one certain part of the country. It's.
But, so...
No, it's scary.
Because that still happens, and because that is still very present, I think that women do need to remain, like I said, they need to remain vigilant in protecting the rights that we have now, and also speaking out for pushing those boundaries and making sure that slowly but surely we are getting equal pay and we are getting more women in CEO and CFO positions.
I mean, it's probably going to take more than getting Hillary in the White House, the same way putting Barack in the...
But it's a step.
It is a step.
It's a positive step in the right direction, and if the right framework is put around that so that it's not threatening.
Right.
Not terribly threatening anyway. I mean, it is going to be a little bit threatening, especially to the old school attitudes where it's that exist in most of the rest of the world, that women are second-class, third-class citizens.
I mean, luckily for Hillary, though, I mean, it's not just because she's a woman. Like,
No, she
I
happens
feel like
to be
she's
incredibly well.
Yeah, she's the best person for the job.
She's prepared for the job. Yeah, she's had years and years of experience. She's smart as a whip.
Right.
Doesn't take any shit off anybody, and she's got Bill in her back pocket, who's got all the charm and charisma.
Yeah,
He's. Yeah.
Just have to get there. Just have to get there.
Have to get there.
I know you got a few things beyond the new record Shine On. There's a ballet that just happened.
Actually, it's been going on for a couple of years
Okay.
now. Jean Grandmaître, who is the head choreographer for the Alberta Ballet,
Yeah.
which is a really strong organization. A couple of years ago, when we did the Olympics, he was part of the opening ceremonies, as was I, and we met then. And he had just done a ballet for Joni Mitchell. Yeah. And I went to see it. And I was like,
know about
this
that
is
one, right?
fantastic. Yeah. And he's like, well, I don't know, would you ever be interested in something like this? I'm like, absolutely. This was so great. And he was like, really? I'm like, yeah. So we just set about, we had some conversations.
Some good
about
video
it,
of that and make sure that gets out.
Yeah.
For the rest of us.
Well, hopefully they did a little tour around LA area and stuff like that. The thing is about the ballet and those kind of arts in general is it's really, really difficult right now for them to maintain. They're nonprofits and they work really hard and they don't get paid much. So it's always a struggle. And one of the great things about creating this kind of mashup, this cultural mashup, is that you get such a great crossover of my fans, many of whom have never seen the ballet before, and a lot of staunch ballet fans who have never heard my music before, and that sort of, as I said, that mashup of mixing of genres, I think is a great way to help keep the arts alive and keep propelling them forward and keep creating new and interesting things that are going to.
You're like a super person, a super person for all good things. I love it. I also mentioned that you said you might be doing another holiday record. You might?
I'm thinking about it. Well, people keep asking me, so yeah.
The last one did good enough. Yeah.
Well, and it was a really fun thing to do because, God, the songs were already written. How nice is that?
Yeah, that's good.
I don't have to write the damn things, which is what takes so long.
You just have to do it in July when your mindset's not there. And
May
then
and June, actually.
Yeah.
You do Christmas records in May and June.
Funny.
Yeah, because then it has to be done and
and you're the person
and everything,
walking around town, for the rest of that month, like humming these things.
Humming Christmas songs. Just like, what are you doing? It's finally getting warm out.
Well, I'd love it if it happened. Again, congratulations. Shine On is a beautiful record.
Thank you.
Everything you've done so far. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you. My pleasure, too.
We'll see you around.
Thank you.
All right. It's the Weekly Feed.